Hayao Miyazaki's final feature film, The Wind Rises, tells the fictional biography of Jiro Horikoshi, a genius airplane engineer whose greatest achievements were designing fighter planes during World War II. The film begins with Jiro as a child and continues on until he completes his treasured accomplishment, the A6M0, a fighter jet years ahead of its time. This story is episodic, with little references to time, so Miyazaki utilizes wind to create drama and urgency, signifying major events in Jiro's life. This is demonstrated by Jiro's first meeting with Nahuko. The meeting would have been banal had the presence of wind not signified this as an important encounter. The train races across the countryside, but the stoicism of the passengers indicate this is a normal speed. The scenery is bright and warm, with green pastures extending far beyond the horizon, giving the moment a contented feeling. The wind is simply a background accent at this point, ruffling hair and skirts here and there. Suddenly, the tone of the scene changes as the pages of Jiro's book accelerate in the wind, analogous to his own life story speeding up. We cut to a medium shot as their first encounter begins, gradually escalating the intimacy of the interaction by switching to close-up shots. Jiro is angled upward and Nahuko is angled downward, as if we were seeing them through each other's eyes. However, the eye lines do not match, creating some emotional distance between them. When they leave, we see a near symmetric picture of them in separate cars, denoting an equal parting of ways. Yet the motion of the background slows, as does the wind ruffling Jiro's hair and clothes, creating a sentimental effect. The audience gets the feeling of a missed opportunity, but nostalgia indicates that while this particular moment is over, it will be revisited. On the day of his first flight test, the overcast coloring of the scene painted a somewhat foreboding picture. However, the overall warmth of the scenery paints it with a sort of optimism, even though the general's face does not reflect that. In the middle of the flight, the clouds still a bit, lulling the viewer into a sense of security. The close-up shot of Jiro's face gives an intimate look into his anticipation of what will happen next. As the plane hangs left, the scene shifts in urgency as the flight time is recorded. As we cut back to the still bystanders, the contrast shows their silent expectancy in this high-stress situation. The stilling rotors, a visual representation of air around the craft, creates more drama. The picture then expands to the broader scenery. This is immediately interrupted by the fiery turbines blowing behind, the pop of red color creating more drama. Finally, as the plane crosses the finish line, the grass, flag, and rotors are all accentuated by their wind-induced movement to create a dramatic finish to the test run. However, Jiro is still suspended in his own anticipation, culminating in a spectacular flurry of grass as the plane whips past them. Throughout this entire scene, the visual dynamics of the aircraft caused by wind contrasted with the stillness of the bystanders to create a gripping first run. It seems as if all Jiro's dreams have been realized, except when the plane does a sudden nosedive. The sky is instantly darker, and the clouds race past the planes, contrasting with the still suspense of the bystanders. There's so much movement around the plane, the image even starts to vibrate. Shapes in the background lose form due to the plane's speed. We cut to a close-up of Jiro one last time. The aircraft finally buckles under the force of the wind, an escalation from its previous power in many scenes. These scenes demonstrate how Miyazaki uses wind and air to mark major events in Jiro's life.